It was early morning in Manila. News tickers flashed across television screens. China deploys warships. South China Sea tensions soar. On Manila Updates TV, anchors spoke with urgency. Reporters described columns of gray warships slicing through the waters near disputed reefs. Cameras zoomed in on Filipino fishermen, their faces tense as they watched distant silhouettes on the horizon. The breaking news shook the nation. Social media exploded with images of Chinese destroyers, radar dishes spinning. Videos emerged of Philippine Navy vessels escorting fishing boats, sirens blaring. In the background, jets streaked overhead, their engines roaring above the waves. For many in the Philippines, the message was clear. A new showdown had begun. Parents kept children home from island schools as rumors swirled. Street vendors in Manila huddled around radios. Everyone wanted to know, what will tomorrow bring? The world watched too. In Washington, Beijing, and capitals across Asia, diplomats scrambled for answers. The sea, restless and uncertain, had become the front line of a high-stakes contest. As dawn broke over the Spratly Islands, Chinese warships formed a loose barrier. Their presence challenged routine patrols by the United States Navy. Nearby, Philippine Coast Guard vessels raised their alert. Officers peered through binoculars, searching for any sign of trouble. The air crackled with radio chatter, warnings, queries, and commands. Local civilians felt the tension. Fishermen in Palawan and Zambales watched the drama unfold just beyond the reefs. Some stayed ashore, unwilling to risk encounters with foreign ships. Others gathered in small groups, sharing stories and anxieties about their futures. In Manila, the government issued a heightened alert. The president summoned top generals and diplomats. Emergency drills played out in coastal towns, where residents practiced evacuation procedures in case clashes turned violent. International reactions came quickly. The U.S. State Department demanded restraint and reaffirmed support for Philippine sovereignty. ASEAN neighbors called for dialogue. The sense of urgency was unmistakable. One wrong move, and the world could face a dangerous crisis. The South China Sea is not just another stretch of ocean, it is a vital artery for global trade. Every year, trillions of dollars worth of goods pass through these waters. Oil tankers and container ships travel between Asia, the Middle East, and Europe. If this route is blocked, the global economy would feel the shock. But the sea is also rich in resources. Beneath its surface lie vast reserves of oil and natural gas. Fishing grounds feed millions across Southeast Asia. For countries like the Philippines, these resources are a lifeline, fueling industries and putting food on tables. Geopolitically, the South China Sea is a crossroads. It sits at the center of Asia, close to major powers like China, the US, Japan, and India. Whoever controls these waters holds sway over regional security. This is why tensions here quickly draw in outside countries, raising the stakes for everyone. For many Filipinos, the sea is part of daily life, a place to fish, to trade, to travel. Now it is also a flashpoint. Its future will shape not just local lives, but the destiny of an entire region. The South China Sea is a patchwork of claims. China asserts a 9-dash line, covering most of the sea, a sweeping claim based on old maps and history. The Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and Taiwan each have their own zones, based on international law and geography. These claims overlap, especially around the Spratly and Paracel Islands. Small rocks and reefs have become symbols of national pride. Countries have built airstrips, lighthouses, and even small towns on these outcrops. Each new structure raises the temperature, making compromise harder. The United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, provides some rules. It gives countries rights to waters up to 200 nautical miles from their coasts, so-called exclusive economic zones, or EEZs. But China's claim ignores many of these boundaries, angering neighbors. For the Philippines, parts of the South China Sea, known locally as the West Philippine Sea, are clearly within its EEZ. China disagrees. This legal tangle lies at the heart of every standoff and every headline. In 2016, the Philippines took its case to the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague. After months of hearings, the tribunal issued a landmark ruling. It rejected China's 9-dash line, stating there was no legal basis for its sweeping claims. The court also found that some of China's artificial islands had damaged the environment. China dismissed the ruling, calling it, quote, a piece of waste paper. But for the Philippines and many of its allies, the verdict was a victory for international law. It set a precedent, one meant to be respected by all nations. Despite the ruling, little changed on the water. China continued building bases and sending ships. The Philippines, under different leaders, has shifted between confrontation and cautious engagement. The legal win did not stop the muscle flexing, but it gave Manila a powerful diplomatic tool. The tribunal's decision remains a flashpoint. It is cited in speeches, policy papers, and diplomatic protests. Yet without enforcement, the ruling is often ignored at sea. This gap between law and reality fuels frustration and fear. China's warships are part of a larger strategy. Over the past decade, Beijing has invested heavily in its navy. Aircraft carriers, destroyers, and submarines now patrol the South China Sea. Military bases on artificial islands bristle with missiles and radar. Chinese officials say they are defending their territory. The United States responds with freedom of navigation operations. U.S. Navy ships regularly sail close to disputed reefs, challenging China's claims. Washington says it is protecting international law and the rights of all countries to use the sea. Both sides hold military exercises. Sometimes their ships and planes come dangerously close. Each nation accuses the other of provocation. These shows of force are meant to send messages, but they also carry risks. For smaller countries like the Philippines, the presence of giants is a double-edged sword. U.S. support is reassuring, but any clash between superpowers could have devastating consequences for local communities. The South China Sea has seen many close calls. Warships veer within meters of each other. Fighter jets shadow rivals, sometimes locking radar and warning. In 2023, a Chinese vessel used a water cannon on a Philippine supply boat, damaging it and injuring crew members. Each incident raises the risk of a miscalculation. A single mistake, a collision, a misunderstood command, could spark a larger conflict. Both the US and China have protocols for avoiding accidents, but these are imperfect. Communication can break down in tense moments. Civilians are often caught in the middle. Fishermen lose access to traditional grounds. Supply missions to remote outposts become dangerous. The cost of heightened tension is measured not just in headlines, but in daily hardship for thousands of families. Analysts warn that as military hardware crowds the sea, the danger grows. The world has seen near misses before, but with more ships and more weapons, the margin for error shrinks. The Philippine government is walking a tightrope. It must defend its territory and people, but also avoid provoking a crisis. Recent weeks have seen Manila boost patrols, upgrade bases, and strengthen ties with allies like the US, Japan, and Australia. Joint exercises send a message of readiness. At the same time, Filipino leaders call for calm. The Department of Foreign Affairs urges dialogue. Back channels with Beijing remain open. The government has filed diplomatic protests, demanding China respect international law. For ordinary Filipinos, these actions matter. National pride is at stake. Many want the government to stand firm but fear the costs of war. Civil society groups push for peaceful solutions, organizing forums and petitions. The Philippines knows it cannot match China's firepower. Its strength lies in alliances and in moral authority, the weight of international law and sympathy from the world. The outcome of this showdown will shape more than just who controls a few reefs. Billions in trade flow through the South China Sea every day. Disruption would hurt economies across Asia and beyond. For the Philippines, the stakes are also about dignity and the right to determine its own future. China views the sea as a core interest, vital to its security and growth. For the United States, the issue is about upholding a rules-based order. Other countries watch closely, knowing their own claims and interests may be next. But war is not inevitable. Diplomacy remains a powerful tool. Dialogue, transparency, and respect for international law can keep ships and nations apart. Leaders must resist the urge to escalate even when passions run high. The South China Sea is a test. It asks whether rivals can share, compromise, and coexist. The world hopes for answers that bring stability, not conflict. Only by talking, across tables, not gunnels, can peace prevail.